Hey guys, how's it going today? Alright, so I decided to smarten up, and instead of running around without sunglasses on and squinting like a mole in the sun, because I do that, I decided to wear some sunglasses today. Wasn't that super smart of me? Alright, besides that, today we are going to take a little bit of time and work on the permaculture area. There's not too much in here that I really need to do, but there are some weed overgrowths that are happening in there. The clover has decided to try and take over the places where we had our sunflowers grouped, just being opportunistic weeds that they are. So I'm going to go on ahead and clear those out and put in some sunflower seeds. Yes, I did seed start some sunflower seeds, but I'm also going to be direct sowing some. You can do both, and that will actually help you to stagger your growth. So you have blooms happening at multiple times, and you're never without blooms when you stagger growth that way. All right, without further ado, let's go on ahead and get this clover going. Okay, so that is done. Now, hold on, let me, you're trying to fall over here. Let me shove you down. Breeze doesn't knock you over. Okay. So let's talk about permaculture just real quickly. So those of you who are kind of wondering about that, we call it the permaculture garden. We also have referred to it as like the potager garden. Now, our permaculture, it's primarily permaculture because all that we did is we came in, took off the top layer of the existing weed structures. So things that we know that are native to us, like the clover and I think they call it devil's weed. And that's hard to get rid of. So that's what we did, is we came in and we tore out those big chunks, and then what we ended up bringing in was a blend of compost and manure. I don't have a compost system set up here yet. That will probably be a next year thing, but I'm looking forward to that. We brought that in and we did a thick layer over the top of our existing ground. We let it sit for about a month so that the nutrients can absorb down, and I want to say we did that around January, about 3 seasons ago. Then what we did is there are different types of wildflower seeds that need a cold environment in order to be able to germinate for the spring. So bluebonnet, for example, is one of the native Texas flowers. It's a weed. People cultivate it and grow it elsewhere, but it needs an extended period of cold for roughly 2 weeks in order to get it to germinate. And there were other seeds in the wildflower seed packet that we had that were similar that way. So we let it sit for a month. March came and we went on ahead and put the seeds down. Now when we did that, we knew that some of the seeds weren't going to germinate that spring. And that's the thing if you are going to do wildflowers, and if you get a wildflower mix in particular. You need to understand that not all the seeds will necessarily germinate that year. So have a little patience and give it 2 or 3 years. We are at the 3-season or 3-year mark, and we are starting to see a lot more germinate. At first, the only thing that we had was bachelor's button, also known as cornflower. We also had coneflower, which is an echinacea, commonly called. Excuse me. And let's see what else. Oh, zinnia. We had zinnia, and then we went on ahead and put sunflower seeds in because we really enjoy sunflowers in the summer. They're so bright and happy and perky, and they're a joy to look out the back and just see a whole row of sunflowers. So we did that, and then that's what came up the first season. Second season, we started to see more of the sweet alyssum come out. We've got some things in here, I'm not sure what they are yet. Unfortunately, I was a dingbat and I did not keep the package, so if you do a wildflower, so like we did, keep your packet. That's my advice. I wish I had kept the packet. Okay, so we ended up getting lamb's ear and wild rose, and that would have been last season. This season we've got some new things. I'm not sure. Oh, and we had Indian paintbrush last year too. I almost forgot about the paintbrush. I'm not sure. There's some new things that we have not had the last 2 seasons coming up. This is the 3rd season or 3rd year, and I don't know what they are yet. I'm just gonna have to wait, I think, because they're kind of ferny. They're a ferny something. And there's several different types, and then there's this different type of ground cover that we've also got coming up in here, and it's got a really sweet, let me see. It started to actually come up before all that crazy winter weather. Let me see if I can get this up here for you guys to see. I don't know if it'll come through clear or not. Hold on. But it's a really sweet, pretty little flower, and it's decided to spread itself outside of the permaculture area as well, which I am more than thrilled about because it's a low-lying thing. Hopefully it will help smother out the devil's weed. We also have in here wild carrot. We did see some of that last season, so we should be seeing a little bit more of that this season. And then there's also some wild onion that I am leaving, and here's the reason why. Wild onion is native to our yard. However, we have a terrible time in this area with Japanese beetles. They ate one of our crepe myrtles to death, literally. It died, we had it taken out. My rose of Sharon, they completely and utterly demolished my rose of Sharon every single year until we learned this trick. So, tip of the day. Well, tip 2 of the day. Tip 1 of the day is always keep your seed packets even after they're empty. Tip number 2 for today, wind, is going to be keep onion or garlic planted around any areas where you seem to have Japanese beetle invasion. So we've been doing that. This will be the 2nd season that we've done that. I actually need to put a round of garlic around the new tree, and you guys saw me putting in the shara around it. I need to go in and sow some garlic in there because it actually not only repels the Japanese beetles, but the Japanese beetles will burrow down beneath the trees or in soft, nice dirt area like our permaculture, like around the trees. It's softened, it's got lots of nutrients. It's like prime area for those guys to thrive. So you go in, you put garlic, put onion, whatever you want, and just let it go. So that's how we have been planting our garlic and our onion now for the 2nd season. And I'll go in and harvest it. I'll still use it. It doesn't go to waste, but it does repel them, and it deforms the larvae when they are forming in the ground so that they don't end up surviving. Because I don't want my stuff dead. and they were eating in the permaculture last year, probably because they no longer had a food source around the trees. They stayed away from the trees, so they decided to hit the permaculture garden. So instead of taking out the wild onion that we have here, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it, and I'm probably gonna put in a few onion and garlic cloves in here just in case. That's also a good trick when you have any type of garden. Garlic and onion is a natural pest repellent, and the way that they work, so like if you have a raised garden like we have here, I can't put the garlic or the clove in the holes necessarily, but if I put it in the main bed with the other vegetables, the roots are what contains the natural antipesticide, antipest ingredients, and it has to have its root system in with the root system of the other plants in order for it to affect those plants. So if you are doing in-ground gardening, a lot of people will put things like marigold or onions at the each end of the garden. Usually some even do 4 corners, some do it more than that depending upon how much pesticide they are willing to use versus not willing to use. We do organic here, so I need all the pest repellent that I can get, which is part of the reason that I did so many flowers, because many flowers such as nasturtium, marigold, they just keep bugs away brilliantly. And like I said, you have to plant it in the bed with the veg so that that pesticide in the root system, in their root system, which is just naturally occurring, gets into the rest of the bed, because everything ends up locking in together down below. It really is amazing when you start learning about gardening, how interconnected all the plants are, not just above ground but down below. It's just a very intricate, God-ordained thing, and it's a beautiful thing. So this year, we're basically just gonna let this permaculture area go. I am probably going to top dress one section over here. It still looks a little clayey to me, which doesn't seem to be inhibiting the growth of anything, but I do want to get the soil amended over here so that things can thrive a little bit better, and they can all spread their love. Yeah, and then we may be expanding this area very, very soon, especially since we got the shed taken out that was right here. So since we got the shed taken out, this whole area over in here is a little bit more free game, because it's now going to get sunshine. Thank goodness it's going to get sunshine. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go on ahead and end this video. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about permaculture gardening, feel free to ask in the comments below, and or share any tips or tricks with me that you may have for permaculture gardening. The best part about gardening is that it is a constant state of learning, and I love that fact. So if you have any tips, tricks, or advice, go on ahead and leave it in the comments below for me as well. So, as usual, guys, go out, enjoy the sunshine, and as always, keep it simple, natural, and essential. Bye.